Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to City Skylines. It's a new day here in Caulfields and we've got a lot of development to do. We left the city in quite a nice position last time, but it's time to make some changes. I'm looking to do some upgrades to our general infrastructure because things are starting to get a little bit mazy and out of control here, and I want to get a hold of that before it gets completely out of control. So today we're going to be upgrading a lot of our infrastructure in our main residential area, our industrial district, and creating some new potential zones, as well as tidying up all of our power lines and water stuff. So let's dive in and we'll talk a little bit more as we go. And what I want to do is try and keep all of my heavy industry and pollutants over in this area here. That's going to mean we're going to need to move some of our water pollution areas somewhere else, and I may switch to groundwater purification methods just to help things along the way. However, this is all going to cost, and we don't have a great deal of money, so we're going to have to do this slow. I'm just going to start deleting all of these power lines as well, because we're going to reroute the power to the city through a new main line. What I'm trying to do here is move things away from the highway because we're really close to it, and it's actually throttling our expansion plans because we have too much traffic starting to build up, and we need to keep the highway clear so that it's just like a main artery going into our city. Everything else can have residual roads, and I would like to set up a bus system at some point soon as well. But our city is not big enough for that. Our traffic is still flowing at around about 94%, which is really good. We're not getting any big snarl ups or anything happening yet, but I am conscious of the fact that I have built a lot of my industrial and this little commercial block far too close to the highway, which I would eventually like to expand all the way out and link up with this highway here. So that is the plan. We need to put it into action though. So the next step is going to be to level out some of the terrain here because it does not look great. If we just go here, you can see this massive hill. It doesn't look very appealing. So what we want to do is just go into our flatten terrain tool here, and we're going to try and level it as best we can to the current terrain, which is here. So if we can just start landscaping this and getting a nice smooth flat surface, we'll be able to then start building over here as well. This is costing quite a bit of money. We're up to like 47,000 already, so you might start to see that we'll need to wait a little bit. We now have too much soil and we can't afford to actually dump it because there's way too much of it. To counteract that, we could actually start creating some hills somewhere, but that's just going to waste money. So what we'll need to do is just wait a little bit until we can start getting rid of some soil and then put some more in somewhere else. I actually can flatten all of this out here, which will allow me to create a nice bank there. And this is something that I want to do because I do want to create a nice key for our residents, which will then allow them to increase the land value by living right next to a shoreline. So that could be something that we do moving forward. But for now, we can now get back into this landscaping here. And I just want to take it all the way to the edge there. We don't have enough money now, so we're going to have to wait and let some money come in. Actually, what I've forgotten to do is relink all of my power. So the residents are very quickly going to get angry with me. I think we should probably take out a loan. So let's do that. We'll take out a nice 60,000 loan. We'll just pause things a second here. And this is one of the problems that I have when I play City Skylines. I do these expansions too quickly and forget to do them in a appropriate way. But yeah, there, we have that sorted now, and we can actually link up our power again. And then I'll let things run a little bit so we can make a little bit more money, and we might actually hit a brand new milestone. So we're just going to link these up, and then we'll run a power cable all the way to this area here, round the back of our commercial district, and then to there. And then I guess we'll just have to... we can just tag the end of our residential district there, and that should spread power throughout. And then lastly, one to there. Right, that gives us a little bit of time to play around with things. So we'll jump ahead a little bit. We'll probably hit a new milestone, so we'll just hold off for that. We do need to add some power to our water pumps too, so we'll hook that up. There we have it. Right, okay. So this should see us reach our new milestone very soon. And that was a bit of a shaky start, actually. We only need another 89 residents to reach the next milestone, which unlocks a load more new buildings and will give us some money. And I'll spend that money on paying off the loan because we're still in a nice bit of profit. The power situation's looking good. We do need to be mindful of the fact that this landfill site is very nearly full. I can actually buy a new tile. So what I'll do is I'll buy this one here. That's not just because I want to finish off my little bit of landscaping here. I actually do have a plan for this area as well, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So I should now be able to finish off flattening all of this land, but I need some money first, so we'll have to wait. We are now, hopefully, a busy town. There we go, busy town. So that gives us a nice chunk of cash so that we can start funneling some new industry and developments here. So we'll just pause it again a second. I want to pay off my loan immediately. That does bring us down a little bit, but it's hopefully going to allow me to assess the situation. And unfortunately, I still can't do anything with this soil. Now, what we could do is add some soil here to flatten all of this out. But I don't know if I want to do that yet. I think I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the amount of money that we've got. So I guess we're going to have to just jump forward a little bit so that we can put some money back in. I need to be able to spend money to get rid of all of this soil that I've built up by making these adjustments here. And then we can actually sort out the landfill issue. But I don't know if I'm going to make enough money in time to be able to do that before our landfill runs out of space, which is slightly unfortunate. So we may need to just put down a secondary landfill just to cope with things for now. Although we could just run our, you know what, let's just run our new path all the way along here. We don't need to go too far, so we'll put in a 2-lane road with a grass median all the way along here. And this is essentially going to be a brand new kind of facility for our main like residential areas and our business areas, and it's essentially going to be all of my council utilities. So we'll have our new landfill site built here. We're going to put that down now, and we'll have another one on the opposite. No, we'll not. We don't have the space. We'll put that one in there. That leaves us with no money. So we'll queue up the emptying of that landfill, and we will... Can we actually move it, or will that cost... Ah, okay. So we can relocate the recycling centre there. And then we can save some space, and what we'll do is we want to save up for the garbage incinerator. Where is it? There we go. So 7,500 will unlock the incineration plant, which is a pollutant, but it's fine. That will certainly help us out. We can burn off our garbage, and hopefully we'll find ways to purify things a little bit better. For now, though, that's a pretty decent start. We have all of this hooked up. We don't have water to this area, so we're going to put that in now. And then I'll just jump ahead because we've got to empty this garbage area now. And that should allow us to sort out those issues with our landfill sites, and we've at least opened up this area now. Now, this maze of power cables we're going to sort out as well, but let's just jump ahead. Okay, so we have now finished emptying our landfill, which means we can finally demolish it. There we go. Right, that frees up a lot of space. We also made enough money before, in the middle of this, to get rid of all of our soil, and that's going to allow us to then finish flattening out this area here. You can already see here, though, the problem with what we've done is this landfill is full, and our second landfill is at 21%. And that's because we were still producing garbage and stuff from our city, our industry, and our commercial areas while we were emptying that landfill, which has made things a little bit difficult for us. So, yeah, we need to think about that moving forward. But the next step is going to be to create this new industrial area. But before we can create our industry, we need to create a residential district that's going to be serviced over here. It's basically going to be a new and upgraded version of Aspen Park. Because eventually I want to make this a little bit more of an affluent area. We want to make a high value residential here and just make it a little bit more of a secluded community by the waterfront, make it like a park zone with lots of greenery and stuff. And then over on this side of the island, we're probably going to be doing some new industry and things like that, or maybe create a tourism sector. So, let's do this. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're going to try and create a nice big through line for our new industry. And because the forest is out here as well, I'm actually just going to use my brush to create some new forest down here. So you can actually create your own brushes, or you can let the game decide for you. And these are various kind of sizes of trees that you can put in. You can change the density. And yeah, it's a really cool feature because this would normally take a very long process to place. It also allows us to place it when we don't have any money, which is another great thing because I don't have any money at the moment, but we're just going to have this forest kind of extend out, and then I will eventually just let things run for a little bit, like we're going to be doing quite a bit in this episode, to build my finances back up. And some people don't really like playing the game this way. They prefer to just use the natural resources that they have at their disposal and not create anything new. But I need all the help I can get because I'm not great at the game. And I think this is going to be a really nice little new district for us. So I think that's a decent sized forested area. If we just have a look there, we've got lovely big thick patches of greenery that we can start adding in our new stuff. And of course, we're going to have to jump forward a little bit before we can put any infrastructure in. But what we'll be doing is we'll be making use of, if we go to our garbage and industry here, the forest industry is what we're going to be looking to create. So that's going to mean we'll need to create an industrial zone. But first, I'm going to try and put in the infrastructure as quick as possible. Now, before we do any further expansion, we are going to need to sort out the area in the main part of our city. So we are going to start by demolishing this commercial district, which is not working at the moment. It's because it doesn't have a great road infrastructure around it, and there aren't enough people to work there effectively. So we're going to get rid of everything here and de-zone it so that nothing else is built there. So all of the roads are now gone, and it has been effectively de-zoned as a commercial district. So everything is gone, and we'll let that kind of vanish for now. We have kind of throttled the access to our city, so that's going to have to be sorted as well. And we will just demolish some of these power lines so that I can extend the highway. I think if you are experienced in playing this game, you're probably screaming your head off right now, but this is me. Welcome to my world. Then that's all done. Now, obviously, you can see here the power has been cut off, but this actually gives us a little bit more of a platform to build on, and we can start constructing some proper on and off ramps for our highways. So I'm going to move over to my industrial area here, and we're going to de-zone this length of buildings here, and then the length of buildings that run all the way along here as well. Then we can construct a little bit more of an off-ramp, upgrade this main road that goes all the way along here, and get a better connectivity with our city in this area. So we're just going to go with 2-lane roads. Or should we go up to a 4-lane? We don't need the grass on here. We can just go with a standard 4-lane road, I think. Yeah, and we'll upgrade it all the way along here. So this is now, obviously we're going to have some businesses moving out, but they will come back in. We'll have a 4-lane loop going all the way around here. And then the one-way streets in between should be enough. What we'll need to do is create on and off ramps that join back up with the highway, but we'll come back to that in a moment, because the next step is going to be to create a brand new service road that runs all the way along the front here and kind of recreates our residential area. We're also going to move those sewage pumps, so we will do that now as well. If I can just grab these, we're going to grab them and just move them to the opposite side of the river. And that is then going to allow me to just beautify that area again. And we can then continue to run the road all the way along here. So we'll demolish this main street and we'll lose all of the houses that are there, but that's okay. That's not a problem. We will need to link it all up and probably redo some of our areas here. But I want to just get this right first time so that we're not struggling to make it work in the future. So we'll loop all the way around to there, get rid of these little side streets as well. Now that will probably cut off access to some of our amenities, but we'll restore that as soon as we can. Get rid of this street as well. And then we'll demolish these buildings too. Now, I probably should have saved the game before I started doing this, but we've started now, so there's nothing else we can do. This could be a disaster, but that's okay. I should have done this earlier on. Should have had a bit more forward planning with it all, but you live and learn in City Skylines, I guess, and you just have to deal with the cards you are dealt, or the cards you deal yourself in my case. Now, we need to get an exit ramp on this highway, but what I want to do is I want to put a nice we'll go with a 2-lane road. Might be a little bit much. I think a 4-lane road. Can we get a 4-lane road? Ooh, with bus lanes. That might be a good idea, actually, so that's some future planning for us there. So I'm going to run a 4-lane road with bus lanes along here. And you'll see that that actually extends, and the terrain kind of adheres a little bit, which is quite nice. And that's kind of what I want to keep when I eventually start putting in the keys here. I'm going to just delete that bit there, though, and then have this kind of turn and go up along here. And then we'll have it loop around, cutting through these areas here. And what I want to do is I want to link it up to the top of this district. So we'll just keep that loop on a decent angle. And we'll have it go all the way around the top here. So we'll cut it to just a straight road now. And now you can see this is kind of where our new residential district is going to pop up. Our newly redeveloped residential district, I should say. So we're going to run a line parallel here. Up to there. And then match it up with the rest of... Now, this is where we start to create our on and off ramps. And these houses are all going to be demolished, but we will eventually link them all back up. And yeah, I think that looks half decent. It could be better. And you can see as well, we've got some uneven terrain that we can, again, we'll sort that out in future episodes. So some of these houses that are currently being demolished will eventually be rebuilt and demolished again. But I think we should probably start thinking about dezoning all of this so all of the houses go away. This is a big financial risk for us as well, but we will need to do it. Next, we'll go to our highways and we'll find our basic off-ramps. Now, what we want is a 2-lane. I guess a 2-lane. Or would just a simple 1-lane do? Yeah, we'll just use... I don't think we can have a 2-lane highway ramp. So what we need is to have a basic off-ramp coming here. And what we can do is we can have an off-ramp on one area and an off-ramp on another area. So we can have a very early on off-ramp here. And that will just come into that part of the city. And then if we have houses up there, anyone coming off there will be able to access housing and stuff there. And then we'll put another one in, like coming down here. And this will all at some point need to be redeveloped because this is very, very basic. But it's just to try and help the traffic flow a little better in the city as people are coming off the main highway. So we'll go here, and then I guess we need to just bring down our bus lane again. Let's have this curve then. So we want it to curve down and join up there. That works. It could be a bit smoother, but I'm happy with that for now. And basically what I want to do is I want to get this area kind of finished in some form so that we can move on to something new. Now this is not going to work in this position, so we'll need to you can tell I'm not a city planner, so do bear that in mind when you're watching. And if you are upset or offended by any of the layouts in this build, I do apologize. Like these weird things that we've created, which don't look amazing, but I'm okay with it for now. We'll deal with the rest another time. Now, the problem that we have here is we are going to need to have something in between that allows anyone who's coming and turning around to get back into the city. We will also need to create a little bit of a ramp and a bridge that goes over to our brand new shopping area. Now, if we just page up here, we should just be able to go over the top of our highway and then come back down on the other side. And these will form up some nice little ramps, giving our buses and our commuters access to this part of the city. Now, I think I want to do the same with this. So we're going to get rid of that curve there, and we'll have it curve up and out. We'll go to here, and then we'll come along here with a nice straight road. Guess to around about here, and then if we can just go up. I think we've gone a little bit shy there. That's fine. This is all infrastructure for when we finally get our buses in. I'm going to go across like that, and then we can page down. That is not my intention, so we'll get rid of that. Yeah. Oh, it still does the weird terrain adjustment, which I don't particularly like, so we're going to have to just play around a little bit to get this right. Maybe we just need to come up a little bit earlier. No, still not getting it. I'm not happy with that, but it will suffice. And then we come off again. It looks way too weird. I can't be dealing with that. That's not nice. Right, let's run this down anyway. And then we'll intersect there. And then we should now be able to just go up there. We'll come across, and then we'll go down again. It's not perfect. I really don't like the way that goes up there, and this one as well doesn't come down very far either. So maybe we should just abandon this idea. We'll get rid of that. Then we'll add in like a little bit of a turn there, looping that round, and then we've got a couple. Maybe we can make this a little bus interchange of some description. And then here again we've got issues, but I think just moving that across does sort them out. Yeah, I think that one looks fine. So at the moment we only have one access point for our new residential shopping district, but that's fine. We'll cope with that, and then we can do another one here that would go into our commercial areas. Problem I'm having though is that this is not at the correct angle. It all looks very uneven, which again I am not a fan of. I like things to look pretty and bang on, so we want a nice 90-degree angle. I'm going to run this bus route all the way up, and then we're going to find a decent area to intersect, so like here, and then we'll run this all the way along. We want to make sure that we're on this a 90-degree angle as well. So we'll have that come to here, and then all of this stuff that's in this area we'll demolish as well. So this is becoming a little bit more of a bitty episode. I think we may need to just... I might cut. So what we'll do is, I'm going to sort out this residential area, get it all linked up again, and I'll explain to you what I did to finish it all off. But you do get the idea. We're essentially creating a larger residential area here that is going to service our new industry, and then we'll move over to this area because I don't think we have the money to go right into an industrial development right now. So we need to just make sure that we've got all of the basics done again properly. But this will hopefully be the final development of the Aspen district. And before I put all of the housing back in, I will explain to you the viewer who is putting up with this monstrosity right now what I did. Now, if ever I have an idea like that ever again, somebody needs to pull me to one side and tell me that it is a terrible idea, because this redevelopment nearly killed this city. Thankfully, though, we've made it through, successfully managing 2 loans, but we now have a completely new infrastructure, and as you can see here, we have rebuilt all of the amenities that we ended up getting rid of. So we now have our schools, library, all of the other stuff. We've redeveloped our industrial sector, and it flows a lot better. I'm still not 100% happy with it, but I think we've got something that looks really good, that eliminates as many snarl ups as possible and helps our traffic flow really nice. You can already see as well, we've put in a load of bus infrastructure for when we do expand a little bit further, and our residential areas are looking really good. We've even increased our population. You can also see a bunch of parks and tropical gardens and stuff have been put into position, and things are looking really nice. So I'm quite happy with how things are, and we can move on to the next part of our development, and that is going to involve going back over to this area and starting to map out our new forestry area. You can see the demand for industry is pretty big, so that's really good and is going to work in our favor. You'll also see our population is 5,500, so this is all really good stuff. Now, what I did, I have the highway running down still, and it doesn't see much use at the moment because there's no reason for people to come this far down, but we do need to keep that in as the main vein through our city. However, most of our industrial and commercial traffic does come off at this lovely intersection here, and it goes through the industrial district. Anyone needing to use the industrial area will be able to go there and do that. And then further along, they then have access to this commercial zone. It basically separates all of the heavy industrial traffic from the rest of our residencies. No trucks can come through here either. We've put a ban on heavy traffic in there as well, and we have this nice little area here that has nothing built on it at the moment that we could zone for offices and commercial when we finally get those unlocked. We have a little commercial hub here that pretty much facilitates all of the commercial activity within our area, and you can see here the traffic flows real nice with any incoming and outgoing industrial stuff delivering coming from this direction, and our residents coming from these 2 bridges here. They also able to access work using those bridges as well, which means they are eliminating highway use as much as possible, especially when you consider that there's no on-ramp coming out of our residential area, which we will need to sort eventually. I'll probably put a little roundabout down here, or maybe add in another intersection just to give our residents access to the highway. But at the moment, it's not looking too bad. If we look at our traffic tab, we've got a little bit of backlogs in these 2 areas here where traffic crosses. We could eliminate that with bridges and stuff, but as this is like a main exit area, we can't really do that at the moment. So I'm very conscious that this has taken a lot of time to do, and I think it's probably time we just called it here for now and then moved on to our new development in next week's episode. But I hope you still found some enjoyment in this one. It has been a lot of fun to do the redevelopment and really get some work done on this place, and I'm really excited now to see how it develops. I feel like we've got a really good solid infrastructure there, and if we can just manage the traffic a little better in some of those snarl up areas, I think we'll be on to a very good city. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this one and learned a little bit from my haphazard way of playing the game, and if not, I hope you've still enjoyed watching. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.